to the gameplay experience. The AI is always actively trying to work out what you're doing, giving you options. The team works together as a unit. Defenders work together as a unit and think much more intelligently in a zone system. The keepers have been improving that constantly as we've gone on. The referees were improved. The code that we've been showing out on the Gamescom floor is one step up from preview, and the code that we have now is one step up from that. To bring you fully up to speed, at the moment we've been talking about new modes and online, and also a thing that we've announced that's called My PES. In terms of modes, the big question marks were over something called Football Life. Football Life consists of individual modes, two of which you should already know about: Become a Legend and Master League, and a new mode called Club Boss. Club Boss, you step into the shoes of the chairman of the club, the idea being that you make that club the wealthiest, most successful club that you can. It's unlike the other modes in that it doesn't have a game over condition. Also, you don't have a direct impact on the play. You kind of step back and you're making backward decisions. Online, we've been talking about improvements to the community section. So we're encouraging more of a sense of community. We're making it easier for people to set up a community and then invite other people to join. And we're hoping to encourage inter-community rivalry by having matches between rival communities with league boards. We're doing, I guess, if you play online, one of the concerns people have not just about our game but about most games at the moment is unfair behaviour, which is ever-pervasive, unfortunately, online. But we've got a system called Fair Play where you can rate people according to if you've had a good game. That now means that if you're consistently rated poorly, it's not immediate, but if it happens quite a lot, then you'll be paired against people who are also termed, not good players, not friendly players, cheating players, and they'll end up playing each other. And we also have a system that is now checking for disconnects, and after a certain amount of disconnects, you'll receive various kinds of bans from the game. So we're working to combat cheating as well as encouraging online communities. Good so far. And especially from a European perspective, the big news for us at Gamescom is My PES, which we announced which I announced in the press conference yesterday, or it feels like a week ago. And My PES is an application that you stick into Facebook, you sign into through the game, and then as long as the person you're playing against is also signed into the system, you can check each other's results, you can record results on and offline, you can compare each other's stats, you can have yourself mini-leagues, you can be part of bigger leagues, depending on which country you're from or town you're from, that kind of stuff. And you also win badges like you would in on the Xbox achievements or something like that. I think the only other thing that I think I've probably missed out is the challenge trailer, which again modes that makes a comeback, and that's to help people to get to familiarise with the new controls that we've added. Up to speed. So, questions? Or do you want to start playing? Bit of both?
Yeah, bit of both, I think.
Can we have a Celeste, can we have a controller? So, questions to me or to Seamus?
Well, whoever can answer them, I guess. First question, in terms of the active AI system, what was the thinking behind it and how long did it take to develop?
アクティブ AI についてなんですけども、背後にある考え、基本的な考え方っていうのはどういう考え方、そしてそれを開発するにはどのぐらいの時間がかかっているか。PES に限らずサッカーゲームは10人のうち1人しか操作できないものなので、実際は操作している人以上に周りのサポートが大事なんですね。ですから、アクティブ AI を特別強化したっていうのは、今年に限らず、毎年やってしかできることなんですね。で、今年に限って言えば、例えば今まで遠慮してたようなことも、全て解放して、今までただ考えを変えたっていうことで、特にアクティブ AI に力を入れたっていうことをアナウンスしているわけです。時間的な時間もですね、他の例えば京都ポイントに比べて、3倍か4倍ぐらい時間が出ます。
Well, this is not just for the football game, however, this is generally applicable for all sports games. On the game, you can control one player only, basically. But it does mean that players around the book must be controlled by AI. You simply cannot control 11 players at the same time. So active AI is a necessary approach to make the game more enjoyable. And it is not very new. He has been working on the AI for years, but active AI actually is one step further forward in terms of make it more enjoyable or make it more appealing or acceptable for the players to actually control the ball. Because when you are moving forward, running forward, and AI control players are not doing or running very wisely or intelligently, it will ruin the game. That's why he focused on that part and tried to make the program running more smooth, which means that the AI control player will be moving as if AI understands what you want to do. So this is the basic concept of active AI. And the development time is quite longer than the usual features, of course, and it took 3 times or 4 times longer than usual developing of a new feature.
I have a question for John. You use Twitter a lot, right?
Sorry?
Are you using Twitter a lot?
I was until I ran out of 3G connection yesterday.
Okay. How important would you say was it for feedback or any ideas for the past?
Well, for me it's not just important for feedback, it's important for connection. And when I started in a more European role several years ago, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, one of the things that I thought was very obvious, being a fan of the game and myself anyway, was that there was a big gap between the fans felt between themselves and not just the team but Konami in general, and they felt dissatisfied with the product as it was, but they felt like they were banging their heads against the wall with nowhere to go, nowhere to speak, no one to speak to. So to start with, it was a really important tool to reconnect us, with the fans. Just have a conversation. It was important to start with. Now for feedback, I find it's a really good way of trying to keep my finger on the pulse. So I have to admit that I tend to dip in and dip out because at the moment my schedule's a nightmare. When I can, it's a really good way of very quickly checking stuff. I wouldn't say I would trust everything that I'm asked to do on Twitter, because not surprisingly, and I'm sure this is true for everyone, there'll be certain vocal people on Twitter that will be going after one or two, key things. It's nice when we can meet those requests, such as this year the ability to take charge of the CPU team when you're playing in a tournament or a takeover when your friend turns up, for example. The famous example before that was probably the Nets. And it's nice when we can get to do certain things like that. But on the other hand, I think it's also really important for me to try and get a broader idea of what we want in terms of, future development, to be providing a voice back to the team. And to do that, I try and work more closely with the forums, with the next gen, for example. That kind of feedback is also really important. And that kind of feedback I can get obviously a lot more depth, because Twitter is by nature so social. Unlike my answer.